right, let's go. We got ICW this week. We got the man, one of my closest friends. I miss him very much. We used to push the bus down there on Revere Street. When his wife came home, he'd jump up and say, Rocky, you gotta leave. My wife's coming. I gotta start washing dishes or something. I gotta make like I was doing something. Meanwhile, we were pushing the bus, doing all sorts of things that we wanted to do, but he had a buffalo to get for a while. But all right, Tony Rumble, the Boston Bad Boy. That's right. The Boston Bad Boy, #1. I was #2. I was wrestling all over. I was done wrestling. I met Tony at 9 Lansdowne Street. He had a button-down tennis sweater. He asked me, he says, are you Rocky Raymond? I said, yes, I am. He said, I seen you on Bedlam from Boston, beep papa. He wanted to train. He trained in my cellar. We worked on mats. Tony was so tall, one time he took a roll, he hit the lights out. There was glass everywhere. But let me tell you, he had a lot of colognes, Tony. Let me tell you, you know what that one is? I'm not going to say, but I hope you use your mind, because he got in the ring with guys like Bruiser Brody. Would I? No way. No way, Jose. But Tony talked, and a lot of people like Tony because he had a good, talking situation about him. And he wasn't the greatest wrestler. He had it upstairs, but he couldn't coordinate it. But this week, ICW, International Championship Wrestling, went through every wrestler from the AWA. Jimmy Snuka, Larry Zbyszko, Nick Bockewinkle. Oh, there was so many of them. Then he went to Puerto Rico. He brought Colon in. He brought some Spanish guys in. Whether it be Jumpin' Joe Savoli, that little Jumpin' Jack, we're going to show you the tag team match we had with the Savolis, and 6-man tag, I believe, tag matches with Savoli and Ayala. You might have already seen them. And then we had the match that everybody wants to see. Bruiser Brody against Tony Rumble as his first appearance as the Boston Bad Boy. And then we got Abdullah the Butcher against Tony Rumble. Again, would I get in the ring with Abdullah the Butcher? No way. He gigs you, he cuts you, and you got the guy up there in Canada with hepatitis C, whatever it is. He cut him and then he stuck him with it. You can look at that up on YouTube too. His name is Hannibal. He has some great shows on TV, a lot of great interviews too. We might as well give him a plug. We gave Willie J one, so why don't we give Hannibal one? He great interviews with Superstar and all the wrestlers, but unfortunately he's fighting a disease, hepatitis C. Now, you see these blood matches, there's no more blood matches, but you see a lot of bloody wrestling pictures, and then you touch it, and then you touch the other guys, and it gets in your skin. Before you know it, you're sick. Now, getting back to Tony Rumble, we got some other matches. Boston Bad Boy 1 and 2 against the Rockets. We got the other shows. We got a lot of great footage we're going to pull out from ICW. We got Irresistible Eric Frazier, the little runt. He was about this thin on TV against Sullivan and the other one. He got his you-know-what clean when he came to TV. And it didn't help his disposition anyways, but what are you going to do? Okay, and then we got all the great other matches from ICW. We might be pulling some other stuff out from Pro Wrestling this week. We might show a couple other things, but this week we're going to jump around with the matches, and then I hope you enjoyed some of the things we're going to get into. If you watched the Mat Classic already, between Ken Patera and Bruno Sammartino, or any of the other ones that you've seen, go on YouTube. Go on YouTube, flash us up there, the YouTube gimmick, and then we got YouTube. You can Google Rocky Raymond on YouTube, see all the shows from the beginning to the end, and then you can watch them backwards if you want, okay? So remember, this week, ICW, Tony Rumble, he had a lot of gall to get in the ring with these guys. He had a lot of nerve, and he was a brave, brave guy, because I would not get in the ring with some of these guys. Unfortunately, he didn't get the push he deserved because ICW was going down. In the end, all the names were gone. And who were they using? The Dungeon Master, the Boston Bad Boy, and all the local guys. Tony Atlas was in his comeback, in a bad part of his life. They were bringing him back, and they were bringing in all the local names. No, the cheap guys they wanted to get, the cheap guys. Hey, when they got Tony Rumble, the Dungeon Master, on top, there's a problem. But they lasted a long time. ICW was on TV on 82 different syndications, from what I understand. And they're probably still showing them somewhere, if I know that Mario Savoli, because he used to get him in and get him out. He had a partner, And I guess one time we were doing a TV tape and the state police come in and they try to take the cameras from Mario. You believe it? You better believe it. You know why? Because Rocky Raymond's telling you. And I tell you directly from the source because I am the man, of course. So remember, when you want to watch some great legends and you want to watch the great things that you want to see in pro wrestling, the 70s and the 80s, all the stuff you see today, I don't really like it. I like New Japan. I like Tanahashi. I like Goto. I like Ishii. I like the other guy, Tanahashi. I said that already. The other guy, there's Okada. There's so many great names and there's so many great deals. And now you get All Elite Wrestling with Dusty's kid doing it and the Young Bucks. Great, great, great material. You're going to see Chris Jericho working his hardest. They showed a clip of him training in a boxing gym, in a fight cage. You're going to see some great matches out of this new show. You know, All Elite Wrestling. It's going to be a great product. And they got a man with some big mazooka. That guy Khan, he owns the football team, Jacksonville Jacksons, whatever they call whatever he owns, but he's got some big money. But remember one thing, EPW is on. Right. Legends, that's right. It could be 8 to 9, 9 to 10. You come to the best of Empire Pro Wrestling. We're going to show you all the stuff we got. We're going to pull some stuff from here and there. But now enjoy it. Enjoy Tony Rumble's defeats and glories of International Championship Wrestling.
Wrestling fans, one fall, 10-minute time limit. Introducing from Boston, Massachusetts. He weighs in at 291 pounds. Here's the Boston Bad Boy, Tony Rumble.
The only wrestler with licensed paramedics and emergency ambulance service for his opponents. He is the most dangerous man in professional wrestling today.
Well, King, here he comes. He's got a stretcher out of an ambulance, a gurney out of an ambulance.
He's come ready to go to work there, Rich. Big, powerful man that strikes terror in the Far East.
Well, you know, he's the only wrestler I know that carries his own medical technicians with him. Pete Sievert and Wes Russell from A Medic Ambulance Service when they're in the Boston area to handle the opponents after the match.
New Mexico. He's accompanied by his manager, Playboy, Gary Hart. He weighs 301 pounds. Here's King Kong, Bruiser Brody.
What a match this ought to be. You got one wrestler, Brody, over 300 pounds, going up against the Boston Bad Boy, 291 pounds. Hey, those are two real heavyweights.
We can't forget the added advantage of Playboy Gary Hart.
That's right. Manager at ringside always has an advantage with his man.
Sometimes, though, that Gary Hart can start sticking his nose in where it doesn't belong.
Well, right now, Gary Hart's behaving himself. Hey, he's got him rolled out on the cot already. But the Boston Bad Boy rolls off, heads back up the ring. He doesn't see Brody behind him. Brody's got him. Oh, a foot right to the side of the face.
I can tell you, Rich,
They better move the fans back. Somebody's going to get hurt.
this is where really Brody likes to operate out on the floor, moving that furniture and bodies. He's certainly big enough and strong enough, so I just don't think he's getting the proper guidance through Gary Hart at times.
Well, Gary's been managing him now for some time.
Well, Gary, I tell you how this all come about. He had the purple haze, and if they actually put the purple haze into a mental hospital until the Prince of Darkness was kind enough to bring him back.
All right. Oh, wrapped across the ropes, a giant forearm down across the chest for the Boston Bad Boy. Another one. Boy, that rang out across the auditorium. Referee calling for a clean break. Finally gets it after the Bad Boy hits the mat.
Brody likes to take his time and really punish an opponent, Rich, and see how he really gets excitement and he really enjoys it.
What a drop kick from a man of over 300 pounds.
He's big and agile and he's fit.
He really is. Ooh, that hurt all the way over here. Now he's tied into the rope. What's Brody going to do to him now? Pushes the referee out of the way. Whips off the rope. Oh, and a foot right to the face. He's got to wear a size 13 or 14 boot.
I'd say he's getting ready now, Rich, to put this man right on that stretcher and right into an ambulance.
It's a cinch. The Boston Bad Boys had a lot taken out of him. I'd be surprised if he can even get up off the mat. The fans love Brody. That should finish him off, King. Down a 3 from the referee. And that takes care of the Boston Bad Boy as Gary Hart comes in to check the opponent. I'm wondering what the medics on the outside are going to do.
I'd say that Brody, without a doubt, we've just seen, Rich, how powerful he is and how dangerous he is with Gary Hart at this point.
He really is. There's no question about it.
But they can only go so far. By the time they start fooling with the Prince of Darkness, it's a different episode.
But look what he's got in combination. You've got Brody, you've got Gary Hart, you're talking about Prince of Darkness. Look what he did to a guy that's almost 300 pounds.
The Prince of Darkness has a divine light. He's seen the light. It's all mental when you go and transpire beyond reincarnation. Sometimes it's not all brute force. It helps, though. In Brody's case, it's carried him a long way.
That's true.
A long way.
Bruiser Brody.
And there's your official winner. We're going to be talking to Gary Hart and Bruiser Brody in just a moment as we look at the match here again in instant replay. King Curtis, your comment.
I think they had that driving foot in there. I'll tell you, the Boston Playboy has got to be tough to take 2 of those and still walk from that ring. No, he isn't. They're wheeling him out. They're wheeling him out.
All right, Gary Hart, we just saw getting the proper guidance that he should from you.
Let me tell you something, you jobbity-looking hood dude. You were no good 15 years ago in Singapore, and you ain't no damn good now. The last time you sent that pint-sized Messiah, Kevin Sullivan, after me, and Mark Lewin, the maniac, Bruiser Brody, was not beside me. So if you got any guts, you scumbag, you bring them up here now, and we'll clean the whole damn thing up, Texas style, real quick. I spent my money well. My mama told me there's a lot of low-life scum in the world. And you made her tell the biggest truth that ever came from her mouth.
Well, there you have it. The manager, Playboy Gary Hart, Bruiser Brody. We've got more action coming your way.
All right, we're going to talk about tributes. We don't want to talk too much on the bad side of wrestling, but there was a lot of wrestlers that made it out real bad reasons, whether it be Kerry Von Erich, all the great names like Mr. Perfect, the names go on. And Louis Spicoli and Brian Pillman and all these guys that just overdosed on drugs. And in the weeks to come, we're going to go through this particular book individually on the wrestlers and talk a little bit about all the wrestlers that have passed on due to drugs. There's Big Bruiser Brody. We're going to talk about him with his little situation that turned out to be a bad situation in Puerto Rico with Gonzalez, where Bruiser Brody, as you can see, a bloody mess here, which he always looked bloody. In his matches with Abdullah the Butcher, there were some brutal matches. He was a brutal wrestler, and he was in a brutal territory, and something brutally happened to him. So we're going to talk about that in the weeks to come also. There's the real Nature Boy, Buddy Rogers, and you can see he was a great wrestler also. We're going to touch base on the legend, Buddy Rogers. And we have Kerry Von Erich. That's right, he was one of the greatest wrestlers out of Texas. Great physique, great moves, and the tragedy that happened to him also, we're going to touch base on. The Von Erich story, too. We're going to come with a lot of these stories that have been coming out lately. If you're watching Viceland, they got all these stories on the Von Erichs, on the Fabulous Moolah. They got them on everybody. You know, Macho Man and Hogan, the true life feud that they had. So you can check it on Viceland. And there's Walter Killer Kowalski. I got that plaque 2 years ago. Matter of fact, it's right here. I brought it with me this week, and they gave me this particular plaque for being the longest promoter in New England. I started in 1983, and I'm still going, even though you can't get a building if your life depended on it, with all the problems of the world with police. They want fire, paramedics, they want everybody. They want everyone from the Mass General to come down, too. All right. Here's the Cauliflower Alley, 30th year anniversary. All the great names are on there. Don Manukin was there that year with a lot of great names. There was so many names on that. Maybe we can get the later names on that. A lot of names on there. You can read them off. There's a lot of names on there. Luthez, Kurt Hennig was there that year. Don Manukin, Killer Kowalski was there. There were so many wrestlers. That particular program goes back to the 30th year anniversary. There's Don Manukin up there in that top corner. Don Manukin, he was a great wrestler back in the day. You probably don't remember that name, but he was a legend. The legends, that's what we talk about, the 70s and the 80s, the legends of pro wrestling. And we're going to bring it to you right here, EPW. There's Kurt Hennig and his father. They had him there that year. The father and son team of Kurt Hennig and Larry the Axe Hennig. Then we got a program, Empire Gym, up in the day. You can see in the corner there, Tony Rumble and myself. And then in the other corner, we have Eric Sprazier at a young age. We used to go to over there in Woburn and train at the Empire Gym over there. Here's a picture of Cauliflower Alley. Everyone in there, 30th year, I believe. You can see me in the back row there with Brittany Brown and Monsoon. There's a lot of pro wrestlers there. I believe Don Curtis was there, Killer Kowalski, a lot of names, and that's the Cauliflower Alley, the 30th year anniversary. Here's a picture of Rocky Raymond with the twins, the Campello twins, Jason and John, back in the junior boxing days in Revere, right off of Shirley Ave. They still don't have a boys club here in Revere, but hey, you never know. By the time I'm 70, I might see one. There's Tony Rumble and Rocky Raymond, the Boston Bad Boy, which is going to be featured this week on ICW. Tony Rumble, he was brave. He was very brave. To get in the ring with guys. Hey, there's Rocky at one of the fairs way back in the days. Look at those rides. They got to be, black and white picture. I think that was way up there in Bangor, Maine, maybe. Here's a girl, upside down cakes. Hey, how'd she sneak in there? Upside down cakes, all right. And then we got Tony Rumble's first professional picture that was taken by Killer Kowalski, I believe, when he wrestled as Tony Rumble. I gave him that name also. Then we got another one as the Dungeon Master with the black hood. He was very scary. I tell you, you see him walking down a dark alley, 6'9", 325 pounds. He was a big man, and this Dungeon Master gimmick got over good. It just so happened he was in the wrong territory trying to make it work. Here's a favorite picture of mine, as you can see there, Tony Rumble and the Slave Girl. And that full shot that he's going to put up there, it says, without you, Rocky Raymond, this would not be possible. So all you people in the wrestling world out there realize that Tony Rumble did appreciate Rocky Raymond. and he respected what I was doing for him by breaking him into a closed business and hooking him up with a lot of people that made his professional wrestling career a little easier. Although the Dungeon Master didn't go too far out of New England, but he had great potential. He had great size. He just couldn't put it together in his head. He was like, we used to call him Tony Fumble because he always fumbled around. No one wanted to work with him. Soto, Ayala, they always complained he couldn't do an arm drag. He didn't know how to post, all sorts of things. But he could talk, and he would have been a great booker, and he was good with that. You know, Mario paid his phone bill for a while there and tried to get him a little push there, but it didn't really work out too well because ICW folded after going through every wrestler from Puerto Rico to AWA to all New England. They had every wrestler, like I mentioned, whether it be Kevin Sullivan, the Prince of Darkness, Mark Lewin, superstar Billy Graham was there. I believe, I know that this gentleman was there, Fabulous Philip Paulo was there trying to work through the cracks and crevices of wrestling to maintain a name and build up your popularity, or either that or get the fans to hate you. That's the way of putting them in the seats, because if you didn't put them in the seats, you weren't going to do anything back in the day. There's Superbad Steve Bradley, who mixed up with the wrong people in wrestling and had a short life, and we're going to talk a little bit about his ups and downs and his tragedy in professional wrestling. He was a great wrestler, wrestled on quite a bit of my cards, and he was a great wrestler. Moonsaults outside the ring, over the top rope, through the middle, and over again. Here's my first program. In another part of our programs, we're going to be starting out with wrestling programs. You can see this was 1983. Frank Gula, the double-barrel chest of Frank Gula, was huge back in the day. 1983, this was my first show. Where was it? Shirley Ave Elks Club. What floor? Second. Who was on the card? Frank Gula and Rocky Raymond, and that's where the two matches were. Then we had some boxing, we had some karate, and we had a sports night show, and it all started in 1983. Then we went to 1985, where we had the first annual Battle Royal for the sports night shows that later became Empire Pro Wrestling, with the Gullas, of course, being the main eventers on there, with myself. Who am I going to push? The show was in Lynn, Mass. The Gullas are from Revere. Rocky Raymond is from Revere, the Playboy at the time. And then the rest of them were just fill-ins that we beat the heck out of. And then we got an old program from Boston Garden, Texas, Deathmatch with the big six-man tag, Albano with Tarzan Tyler and Luke Graham against Pedro, Chief, and Gorilla Monsoon, I believe. And then we had this particular program, if I showed it to you sometime, you could look in the crowd and see young Rocky Raymond standing in the crowd watching this great six-man tag. And then we have the older programs that they came out with. Bruno Sammartino's last couple of times in Boston Garden when he fought High Chief Peter Maivia. One was a return match, and then the other one was in the cage with the High Chief, Peter Maivia and Bruno Sammartino. And this is a booking sheet from Florida. Not too many of you people probably knew about booking sheets because you never got one. And they would tell you what days you were working, where you were working, and the towns that were actually, you know, we had Lakeland, St. Pete, we had, you know, Tampa, we had all the great towns that Florida Championship wrestled in. St. Pete, a great town, and all the promoters, Tanaka, Duke Kamoto, and Dusty Rhodes, and then we had a lot of territory space in Florida, because Florida was a hotbed. The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, you know, the bionic elbow, you know, he kept himself clean. No one could get near Dusty. He was the big man in Florida, just like Bruno was up here in New York. And basically that's what it came down to. And those are the championship wrestling days of Florida, which you can go on YouTube and see all that. And I want to mention another thing there I've been watching on YouTube, Willie J, the glory days of pro wrestling. I'm going to mention it. He's on the 70s and the 80s. That were the glory days of wrestling. The guys that he liked, Bo Brazil, all the names, Harley Race, Flair, all the great names, all the masters of the 70s and 80s. And here's a newspaper, The Lifestyle. This was the Boston Phoenix. This is 1985. 1985, where they did a big story on Rocky Raymond. They had a story, and they said that Rocky Raymond was in the tanning booth eating Hershey bars. And, you know, some of the stories that were there, the WrestleMania stories, they had the whole 4 or 5 pages on our particular league back in the day, 1985, because we ran once a month down at the roller rink in Lynn, and it's now the flea market down there. And we had a lot of great shows down there, battle royals. And there's the picture right there, the world famous picture of Rocky Raymond bleeding out. And they called us wrestling minimals at the time because we were compared to the WWF at the time with Hulk Hogan, and Mr. T was in their big fling at that time with the war to settle the score with Hogan, Piper, and Orndorff, Snooker. As you can see, there's Hogan with in the same article with The Rock, Morocco against Hulk Hogan. And in 1985, if you want to you know, look it up if you can find it anywhere on YouTube. And there's an old friend of Joe Gulla's, probably passed away by now, and another lady that they came to see the Gullah twins that night at the roller rink in the big battle royal. And up top, you can see the pictures that their fans bought. And it was a great show, great time with those. We're going to touch base on all those things and, you know, little clips from Revere and Lynn. If you watched the last show we had, the memory of my dog Bella, and then we showed clips of all the shows we did, the Ferris wheel, Lynn, the Fireball, the chair. I'm sure you've seen that show and the last show coming up. And all the shows that we've done, rest in peace on all the great shows. We did Larry Zbyszko, Pedro Morales. Larry Zbyszko was up at Sports World last October. We even did one on Flair. He's still holding on, and that's a good thing because he is a great legend also. And basically, we're going to be back at you in just a moment.
We're right here at the big time here with Billy. No more wrestling. Get the belt.
Championship.
Here it is.
Best one in the country. Better than Vince's belt.
All right, we're right here with Billy. That's right, we're right here at the Hall of Fame. The best of us at the rest. Watch us on YouTube. Google Rocky Raymond with this guy. Axe Demolition. Tell him, Axe. Tell him.
You gotta check it out. You don't want to miss anything.
10 years. It's been 10 years since I've seen you.
Just like yesterday.
Let me give him a kiss and never know I'm going to see him again. Fucking Raymond on YouTube! Yes, sir. We're right here with Bill Apter, the man that does it all. He takes all the pictures, he does it all. All of them. Erasmus, Bruno, all of them.
That's right.
All the old guys.
Bruno, Pedro.
That's right.
All of
Bruno
them.
Pedro.
Right.
Right
Tell
here,
him.
right here. Look at this one.
Tell him.
Where is Bruno Pedro?
Tell him. We're still here. He's telling you right now because Willie Apter
Bill Apter.
and my main man here, what you gonna do when we run all over you?
This picture here, I know you know this one, baby. This is the one you just talked about. And who that is?
Yes, that's my
Rocky Raymond. You get the picture?
No, I did not take this particular picture. But this is one of two of my heroes. I wrote so many stories. And Pedro would say, I am ready for any kind of action.
Any kind of action, baby.
Any kind of action.
All right, will you take that as a gift from me?
Well, thank you.
Put it up in your wall of fame. Bill Apter, baby. Bill Apter.
Matches.
Watch Rocky Raymond on YouTube, baby. Google it.
That's the man.
Jimmy Luster's Johnny, and then later on Jerry. He's here with us right now, right here. This man, look at him go, man. He's the best. He's the best. He's done it all. He's been everywhere. He reinvented himself. He came up here in New York, took it by storm, went down south, bring it all around, do it again. With who? Henson, Jimmy Valiant. Tell him, Jimmy. Tell him.
I'll tell my people, my brothers and sisters, don't you dare miss Rockin' Raymond on YouTube. Be there or be square. Oh yeah.
Google us, baby. You're gonna see the Valiant Brothers, all the great stuff from the Boston Garden, and you watch it. Google Rocky Raymond on YouTube, and you see the best of the Valiant Brothers, the legends from the Boston Garden. Be there.
ICW.
Wrestling in the Garden, the battle for New York, works, shoots, and double crosses. It was a big year this year. 1963, Bruno beat Buddy Rogers. Come back to the Garden August 23rd, 1963. The attendance was 19,712. $59,328, the Worldwide Wrestling Heavyweight Title match. Bruno Sammartino beat Killer Kowalski in 20 minutes and 58 seconds. Buddy Rogers beat the Great Mortier in 43 seconds. Bobo Brazil and Lucas Pastano beat the Fabulous Kangaroos, one fall, 20 minutes and 33 seconds. Gorilla Monsoon, the Manchurian Giant, beat Cowboy Ron Reed in 3 minutes and 27 seconds. Argentina Apollo and Pedro Morales beat Skull Murphy and Brute Bernard, decision curfew. John Barrind beat Carl Stiffen, 11 minutes and 16 seconds. And Dory Dixon beat Tony Nero. Tim Woods beat Magnificent Maurice, 10 minutes and 47 seconds. And that was the Battle for New York. All right, this week we got a great Matt Classic for you with this camera right here, the Bruno San Martino cam. You've seen them all over. You can watch it on YouTube. Just Google Rocky Raymond. Oh, yeah, we got all the great shows coming to you from where? Revere TV, the champagne, if you will, of the independent TV. So watch us on YouTube, Google Rocky Raymond, and stay tuned for Matt Classics.
By Wendy Richter.
Boy, Wendy just threw her back in, didn't she?
This is a tough opponent. This Heidi Lee Morgan can really fight here. I'll tell you, this is a knockdown, drag down brawl.
Old-fashioned brawl. Look at
this.
Look at this.
What is she doing?
I don't know what she's trying to do.
Oh,
away on the stump. Oh, boy.
Ooh. I'll tell you something. Looking at this, you can see that Heidi Lee Morgan is one tough customer, but Wendy has the move right now and the upper hand. And she's got that Boston Crab pretty well locked in. Heidi, oh, look at that. A show of strength there by Heidi Lee Morgan. Wendy puts her down to the mat with a face. And once again, Heidi's trying to move up the side of the cage, but then Wendy is grabbing a hold of her, trying to pull her down. She's up, almost up there. Look at this.
Now they're both up there.
They're both up there on the top rope, leaning up against the cage side. Look, this thing is going to fall. My God. Wendy with a boot. No. Heidi Lee is trying to pull her down. Wendy's trying to hold on. She's trying to get up the side of that steel cage and get out of there. Heidi now going up for the top rope. Wendy now over the top. She is like 3/4 of the way over the top now. Oh, what action. What unbelievable action here at the National Wrestling Federation for the ladies' crown. Heidi hits the deck.
Boy, I'll tell you.
Wendy
gave her a shot.
Getting out of there. She's all the way at the top now, trying to get out. They're both weak because of so much action that's been going on here.
They just have to stop.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Heidi hanging on for dear life, trying to pull Wendy back into the ring area. Look at this.
Once again.
What a shot. What a shot. Heidi hits the deck hard. Look at this. A suplex.
Oh, my.
Flamboyant
Wendy
one
going
is
for the
down
door.
bad.
I think she's going to make it. Yes, she does.
His granddaughter and my granddaughter go to school together.
Get out of here.
Third grade. They're 8 years old,
Oh,
you
my
know.
God, isn't that something, huh? Remember Scabilio?
Oh, Scabilia, right? Oh, my God.
Whatever happened to
You know,
him?
you remember Cassidy and Balassi, those two outcasts?
Yes.
Yeah, but he's still around. I see him once in a while. But Balassi, he died.
Who died?
Joe Balassi, remember
Hey,
Balassi?
yeah, I remember Joe. Oh,
I remember one night they went into San Antonio, and they stayed over, they were late for curfew, and they come back, and they got in all kinds of trouble. I remember the night we were on that night march.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I didn't go, I bailed out.
You got out of that, I don't remember that.
I told them I was sick.
Oh, boy, were you lucky. That was no fun. That was no fun. My goodness. Man, can you believe that, Jack, how long ago? Where did those years go?
I know. Well, we're still here, Bruno.
Yeah, well,
50 years later, a lot of guys on.
There were a lot of you guys from Boston.
You know, I don't know if you remember, this was like 25 years ago. Last time, before I saw you 2 years ago, down in Cape Coliseum, you were Haystack, Calhoun was there. And I walked in, and I had my kids with me, they were little. And you said to me,
I'm going to give you a buzz.
I walked in, I said, "Look out for me," because I weighed about, put on 60 pounds, and you went, Where you been all this time? You stay around, holding up for and everything else. I don't know if you remember. We were writing to each other. When we first got home.
When we first got back.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Here with Bruno Sammartino, the living legend of professional wrestling. Started wrestling back in the day, won the title in 1963, traveled all over the world. Bruno, can you tell me a little bit about the steroid problem and the debts in wrestling, all these wrestlers that think they're wrestlers, they steal people's gimmicks, they copy people, they're doing steroids. Tell us a little bit about the time that you got into wrestling with Monsoon and those guys that didn't need steroids to the time now where they're all using them.
Well, in my day, I remember guys like Killer Kowalski, Donlio, Jonathan, Tanaka, Monsoon, you mentioned. None of these guys ever used anything like steroids, and they were all giants. This nonsense saying that you can't be big unless you use steroids. Maybe you can develop muscles, you can develop quicker, but there's a lot that goes with it too. Look at these guys. Since in the past 10, 12 years, there have been 121 deaths, and most of these guys are under 40 or under, and so they can say anything they want, but it is all drug related. And I like to see it stop because there's more and more young people want to come into the business, and they're going to feel like they're going to be pressured, feeling that they have to use these drugs in order for them to be successful. And it's a shame because that's a myth. Look at the arena in my day. We used to sell out Madison Square Garden, Boston Garden, all over the place. And now today, they claim it's so much better, so much bigger. They go to Madison Square Garden once a year. They come to my town, Pittsburgh, once or twice a year. Boston, how often they come here. So it goes to show you that the reality is that they're not better at all. And fans are leaving by the droves rather than coming to
They're not putting him in the seats like you used to. They sell out crowds. Now they got the ring music and all that stuff. But getting back to days like superstar Billy Graham, one of the big users, Tony Atlas, Quick Draw Rick McGraw had a heart attack. But it's not only the steroids. They're mixing the steroids with the painkillers and the other extracurricular activity that's going on, basically. So that's basically what's happening with the steroids. And just close it with this and tell them what you'd like to see professional wrestling become without steroids, the good old days of wrestling.
Well, I'd like to see something happen with some control from some outside agency come in where they would be able to control it, test it properly, and clean it up so that these deaths would stop, and wrestling could get back to what it used to be, of just wrestlers who are naturals, who would go out there and be the best they could be. And most importantly, by doing away with these chemicals, how many lives would you save? And that's the bottom line, is saving lives.
Well, thank you, Bruno. It's always a pleasure. The living legend, Bruno Sammartino. Be there. Don't forget to watch Legends. That's right, the Legends of Professional Wrestling, right here at KBLE TV from 11 to midnight with this guy, Bruno Sammartino, the foundation of professional wrestling.
Abdullah the Butcher getting set to move out against Tony Rumler's brother. Abdullah the Butcher wasting no time whatsoever. Over 400 pounds of fighting fury. And Rummel found that out just now as he was just hurtled through the ring rope, down across the climbers table and out into the floor of the arena here. Rummel coming up very slowly indeed. And the wild man from the Sudan, Abdullah the Butcher, waiting for Rummel to try and get back in. And again, Rummel jams into the climbers stand. Rummel's got the sitting actions waiting. Just like zero waste got himself into at this point in time, and Abdullah the Butcher helps him back into the fight. And then helps him out. And so Rummel, in a lot of trouble, has never been able to get it together. Since the very onset of the match, he has been literally devastated by this man, Abdullah the Butcher. Abdullah the Butcher, a man who apparently is impervious to pain and can be, if necessary, absolutely merciless on an opponent. He wastes no time in asserting himself. A lion of an individual. Abdullah the Butcher catches him a massive forearm across the chest on Rummel. And Rummel, I think, just got knocked into the next area code. Let's see what happens now if he's able to get back into the ring. He rolls back in the ring, and Abdullah the Butcher after him right again. Abdullah the Butcher brings him up into the ring rope. Pressure on both sides of the throat. Abdullah the Butcher again closing in. And the referee calling the count. Rommel fired away, but that punch had absolutely no authority. And Abdullah punching that hand around the throat of Tony Rommel. And so the Boston Batman has really got himself some problems. Fires at the rather ample midriff of Abdullah the Butcher, but ineffective. Abdullah now slamming those boots on him. And Abdullah the Butcher again hurdles Tony Rommel from the ring. And that timer table is taking a beating tonight, no question about that. And Rommel now could be debating whether or not he wants to step back and take any more of this punishment. We'll find out what kind of a man he is here in just a moment. He has realized by now that at 299 pounds, he is a big man indeed, but when you go up against a 405-pound giant like Abdullah the Butcher, then you've got yourself another set of problems. Rommel tried to climb in and more effectively, but it was pointless, and Rommel again. But can definitely have broken his nose. Got him flush in the face, may have flushed his nose on that one. Rommel again, driven from the ring area. And so Abdullah the Butcher, standing alone and standing very securely. Rommel, with a look of almost disbelief on his face. But I'm sure most of the time when Rommel steps into the ring, he feels he's got things pretty well under control. Lashes out with a boot, caught an inspection by Abdullah. Abdullah catches him again in the chest. Abdullah the Butcher now fires him off the rope. Abdullah, there he is coming off the rope. Abdullah now back into the corner. And watch out, because here comes the freight train. Down across the chest of Tony Rommel, and it is all over. Abdullah the Butcher, 410 pounds, absolutely destroying the Boston Batman, Tony Rommel. There you see him, the wild man of the Sudan, Abdullah the Butcher. And Rommel, moving on out of that ring, wants no more of this man at all.
Right here in Revere Beach, the Saints Sculptors. You better be here all over the coast to coast from Boston to Bangor and back. I'm the Boston Bad Boy. I want to tell you about what's going on this week and all the great things. But remember to watch my show on Wednesdays. You already know about that one on Wednesdays and Saturdays. And then in Saugus, we're going to be in Saugus from 9 to 10 and 10 to 11. So I want you to be there with me and Peanut and Bella. Be there.
Entering the ring, the combined weight of 460 pounds, Rudy combinations in the history of the sport. The Samoans getting set to enter the ring now. Going up against Rudy Diamond and his partners. These Samoans are double devastating in the ring. Dangerous at all times. Big, powerful men. And they have a style that is theirs and theirs alone. Totally unique in wrestling, and it has proven to be absolutely devastating to any and all opponents that they face. All right, one fall, 10-minute time limit now. Let's watch the Samoans. And they are almost casual in their approach. And this has to be unnerving to their opponents when two men can look so cool, so calm, and so relaxed. And they know in just a moment or two it's going to be a one-on-one combative situation. And so, the Samoans rising up the situation now. Get set. Began to circle there in the center of the ring. Once again, we lock up collar and elbow very quickly. The Samoan rolls him back into the rope, catches in another chop into the throat that dropped his man. And now the Samoan wasting no time, and not a choke. He's on either side of the throat. Another chop into the chest. And another chop to Preston, and he would do well to tag up with a Preston Louis Diamond. Brings him up a little body slam. Brother, that'll jar those 26 vertebrae. But come on. Going to a pressure point now on the side of the neck itself. And that can send a lot of pain coursing through the body. And that's one thing about these Samoans. They're well versed on the 26 pressure points. One caught him in the midsection that had little or no effect. And that punch just didn't have authority, but the Samoans did. The Samoan catches him again. Tag is made. Rudy Diamond moves into the squared circle, and all right, using that speed and that agility to move away from Samoan, and he realizes he's not going to outpower him. Taking him on a frontal attack. Now let's see exactly what happens here. All right, good swing break. That's bad. Locked up. Collar and elbow once again. Back up against the ring rope. Now watch. The Samoan has good block by Diamond, and he fires shot to the hard right hand of the head. Samoan trying to shake that one off, clear up some cobwebs. And so the Samoan may be looking at Diamond with some newfound respect. Brings him back into his own corner. They're very quickly double team, right? And again, using those pressure points. And this obviously comes from their many years of touring throughout the Pacific into the Orient. And they've been able to pick up a lot of the Oriental approaches to the sport of wrestling. Knowing the nerve points and the pressure points, they double team very quickly on Diamond. Check-in coming off the rope. And the Samoans have things pretty well under control at this point in time in this Australian tag team event. And the crowd obviously becoming increasingly unhappy about the situation. Diamond finds himself in rather dire straits as the Samoans continue to move very confidently against this team. Diamond trying to figure an escape, trying to block himself from further pain, and again the referee warning him about getting too close into the throat area. The tag is made once again, and Diamond, and they're double team on him. Gets powerful thrust into the chest. Diamond good and back to the center, and he's had a lot of wind taken out of his sail. Another massive forearm across the base of the skull, another one across the back of the neck. And Diamond firing back in a shoulder smash that had little or no effect on the Samoan. Samoan caught him with a hard, ripping right hand, coming off for a penny headbutt. It has Diamond in a whole heap of trouble, if you will. A count of three, and the Samoans win with relative ease over this combination. And so the Samoans continue their unbeaten ways here on Championship Wrestling. We'll be back with more action on the International Championship Wrestling after we pause.
Let's have a great round of applause for Mr. USA, Tony Atlas. Now play something good now for Mr. Tony Atlas.
And here he comes, the legendary Mr. USA, Tony Atlas from the WWE Hall of Fame.
All right. the back of those, drop him on his head, and shake your hand out. He was all around the Mid-Atlantic area, Louisiana, all down there with Mr. Bill Watts, as well as the booker was Ernie Ladd, I believe. Who else, Tony?
Ernie Ladd, Cowboy Bill Watt, Rufus R. Jones, Wahoo McDaniel, Ric Flair, Andre the Giant, Chief J. Strongbow, Tony Guerrero. I could go on and on and on.
Now I go back a little further. Earl Maniac, Sheila I. Thomas, Big Cat Wright, Sweet Daddy Siki, Sweet Daddy Rocky, Pork Chop Cash.
Yep, a whole bunch of others. I've been around this ring about 45 years.
All right. And when did you meet me? How long ago?
I think I met you, Rocky, was in the early 90s, the late 80s.
ICW, but I knew you way before that. When I took my first picture with you with the Superman costume on.
That's right. Back in the mid-80s then.
Mid-80s, that was before it was taking selfies, right?
That's right, it was called World Class Championship Wrestling with the Von Erichs.
As well, you've been everywhere. I'm going to tell you, the tag team champions with Rocky.
With Rocky Johnson, Dwayne Johnson, the Rock Father.
As well as the Samoans, and you beat the Samoans to the title, I believe.
Yeah, well, it's so ironic about that. The Wild Samoan was also Dwayne Johnson's uncle, and Raymond Rome is Alpha Seeker, son.
Correct. Now, you gotta understand something. You try to be a Boston bad boy back in the day with Tony Rumble. You were wearing the bad boy gear.
That's right, Tony Rumble was my manager. I had the crossbow, the star, the whole gimmick.
And who broke Tony Rumble in the business?
Well, everybody know you did.
That's right. And he was a great guy, and God bless him.
God bless him. I miss him every day. Every day I come to Rivera, I always miss Tony Rumble. Great individual.
Great. He used to push the bus. You know guys know about push the bus, but you know something? You got those big arms, right? My arms aren't that bad either, right? How about we do a little arm wrestling here tonight? Me and you.
Yeah, let's get an arm wrestling going. Come on, let's get it going. That's right.
Okay, referee, get that table in the ring. Now I want my
Get that table in the ring.
Number one referee, we gave, number one referee, he's gonna be there, this referee's gonna be there, and all that good stuff. Come on, number one referee, get in here. Now, is this table stable here or what?
Yeah, that's good.
You gonna wear that wedding ring while I arm wrestle you?
Oh, yeah, my wife.
Now, wait 1 minute here. I want to check him out. Check him out. Make sure you have that baby on arm. Now, let's stop. Okay? No, you don't check his leg because his legs, let me tell you something. He's bench press 440 pounds right now. He'll probably pick me up. What about me? I've got no foreign objects. Be fair, right? Fair what? What are you doing with that? They're gonna win tonight or what?
Yeah! They're gonna deflate the Colts!
All right.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah!
1, 2, 3.
Here we go. Get someone in there. Get in there, Axe. Smash him with the chair. Smash him down. Beat him down. Smash this man into smithereens. Yes, give him a right hand blow to the side of the head. Who are these other gobblers coming in the ring? Look, you can't even get in the ring. I'm going to smash you in a minute. Who are these other gobblers? Shady shit. Who's this midget? This pyro midget. He looks like a book of matches. Tiger Mask coming in to help. What do we got here? We got Felicino, the referee. He don't know what's going on. Luke doesn't know what's going on. We're trying to protect Tony Atlas. If I get my hands on him, I'm going to break him into smithereens. He won't be able to make no more pork chops either, or fried chicken, okay? Atlas, it's time for you to retire, and I'm going to retire you right here tonight. There goes that other grobbler, that cash money, that welfare department, wife beating scammer. And then you got Tiger Mask. Get him out. Get them all out. Get the bushwhacker out.
The number one referee right here.
Yeah, ref, hold my hand. I'm the winner. Okay, we're back here. We hope you enjoyed this week. We tried to put them all together. We're squeezing in. We only got an hour. But you know I'm the man with the power. The man with the reflection of perfection coming on down in your direction. Now, how'd you like them matches? How'd you like that glory days of ICW? Or I should say the legendary days of ICW, because it was a long time ago. And remember, Tony got hit with a couple of good shots from Brody. And his head was going all around. And then when he got to Abdullah, he got some more. All right here. We want to say goodbye this week. Hope to see you soon on Legends of Pro Wrestling. The days of the 70s and 80s, the great days of all the great wrestling from the Boston Garden. So see you next time on Legends of EPW.